Hello students, here I am with the analysis of NEET test 113, the physics part, and what I feel it is perhaps one of the easiest paper I have solved till now. None of the question I find as tough. 24 are easy, 21 are medium. The question number 20th answer is given wrong. It's a paper where I expect there will be many who would be scoring 180 out of 180. So going by my style, 24 and 10, 34. 34 means 130 plus score is a must for this paper if you are thinking if physics is somewhat decent, you are in physics, and if you are very good it should be 165 plus for sure in this paper. It's a cakewalk. First question, in Bohr's model of the hydrogen atom, which of the following pair of quantities are quantized? Energy and linear momentum. No, energy and angular momentum are quantized, so go for option C. That's an easy one to begin. The wavelength of light emitted from the second orbit to the first orbit in a hydrogen atom, we can directly say, let's say the energy involved would be 13.6 first to second, that is 1 square minus 2 square, and that I can write it as this is hc by lambda. So lambda comes out as 1240 upon 13.63, and this comes out as 3 by 4. So what we will left with, we are left with 4, and this would be, I can write 3.4, so 1240 upon 3 4s are 12, 9, 10.2, that we already know. So 1240 upon 10.2, so it would be approximately 121 nanometer or 1215 angstrom. Go for this, because this is in nanometer. So an angstrom, this comes out like this. Thin ring of mass m, radius r is rotating about its axis normal to the plane of the ring with a constant angular speed omega. Two particles each of mass m are attached gently to the opposite ends of the diameter of the ring. The now ring rotates with angular velocity omega by 2, the ratio of m by m. So it's simply angular momentum conservation because gently attached to opposite sides, so net torque on the system is 0. Initial angular momentum for ring only was I omega. I was mr square into omega. Now it becomes mr square plus both are at a rim, so it would be 2 times mr square, and this has become omega by 2. So what we are left with, this r square, omega, omega goes. So m is equal to m by 2 plus capital M. So m by 2 is capital M. So m by m, it comes out as 2:1. So we'll go for option B here. Next one. 4 identical spheres, each of mass m, radius 10 cm, are placed on a horizontal surface touching each other such that their centers are at a square of side 10 centimeters. The distance of their cm from the center of any sphere will be. So what you have almost 1, 2, 3, 4 like this, and this is the square you have got. So you can directly make it out from the logic that cm will be at the center of the square, and this distance you can make it out. This distance you can directly say this length, a length, is equal to 2r, and this length you know is equal to a by root 2, that is 2r by root 2. So you can write it as root 2r. Root 2r means 10 root 2 centimeters. You can directly do this simple geometry. Next, small coin 40 grams placed on a horizontal surface of a rotating disc. Disc starts from rest and given an angular acceleration alpha. Static coefficient friction is 3 by 4, kinetic is 0.5. Coin is placed at a distance of 1. The magnitude of the resultant force on the coin exerted by the disc just before it starts slipping. So when it just starts slipping, so we say in that case Fs acting would be Fs max, that would be equal to 3 by 4 into mg, because n would be mg, and that is 40 into 10 to the power minus 3 into 10. So this is basically coming out as 0.3 newtons. And normal reaction that is also exerted by disc and it is normal to that friction, that would be equal to 40.4 newton. So we can say the direct force exerted by disc, so the force from disc or the contact force from disc would be equal to 0.5 newton, because both are perpendicular. If you square up and add up, it would be 0.5. Next one, short bar magnet, magnetic moment given, field given. If the bar is free to rotate, what is the potential energy of the magnet in unstable? Unstable means 180-degree equilibrium, that would be plus mb. Plus mb means plus 0.32 into 0.15. So what we have, 15 2s are 30, 15 3s are 45, 48. So it would be, I can say it would be 0.048 joules. So it comes out as option A. Next, In the circuit shown as P is not R and the reading of the galvanometer is same with the switch open or closed. It means we have this bridge is balanced, no current flow flows through the switch. So we can directly say P by R is equal to Q by G, or the current, if you can say IR would be IG, IP would be IQ. So IR would be IG, you can directly say that is the option you will have for the balanced condition. Next one, the ratio of the voltage sensitivity and current sensitivity of a moving coil galvanometer is going to be. Now what is the current sensitivity? First of all, current sensitivity you write as deflection per unit current, phi by I, okay, and the voltage sensitivity you write it as phi by V, and V you know is equal to IR, that is I into G. So that means you can say that is current sensitivity divided by G. So what we have, the ratio of voltage to the current sensitivity is going to be 1 by G, directly you can write. Next, you have a wire of length L went into a circular loop of single turn suspended in a field B. When a current I is passed through the loop, the maximum torque you can say would be M into B. When it is a 90-degree angle would be there. M you say is NIA, N is 1, so IA. So L length is turned into this circle, so what we can say, 2 pi R is equal to L, so R is equal to L by 2 pi, so area would be pi R square means L square by 4 pi square, and B is B, so what you get, BI L square by 4 pi, that is what we are getting here. So going by the option, let's say. Next one, in a series LCR circuit, resistance is 18 ohm, impedance is 33, RMS 220 is applied, the true power consumed is, power you say is VRMS IRMS cos phi. So VRMS IRMS cos phi, so VRMS you know is 220, IRMS would be 220 by 33 because IRMS is VRMS by Z, cos phi is R by Z is 18 by 33. So this is what you get, 33, this is 20, this is 3, this is 20, this is 3, 3 3s are 9, that is 2, 400 into 2, that is 800 watt. So the power consumed would be 800 watt in this circuit. Next one, parallel plate air capacitor has a capacitance of C. When it is half filled with a dielectric of 5, the percentage increase in the capacitance is, when it is half filled, the new capacitance will become epsilon naught A D upon 2 divided by K plus D upon 2. So what we will have now, we can say it epsilon naught A and D by 2, I can take it common, so 2D, and it will become 1 by K plus 1. So what did we have, 2 epsilon naught A by D means it would be 2C, and 1 by K is 1 by 5 plus 1, so it comes out as 10C by 6, or you can say 5C by 3. So that means that increase is 2C by 3, which is you can say 66.67%. Go for option B in this case. Next one, in the adjoining figure, the electric field lines for charges Q1 and Q2 are shown. Identify the sign. Lines are coming towards Q1, so there it is negative. Line is coming towards Q2, that means it is also negative. So both are negative, so both charges are negative. Go for option A here. When body is taken from equator to the poles, its weight will increase because at poles the G is marginally greater. Two particles M and Nm are separated by distance r at a point on a line joining them. Gravitational field is 0. The potential at that point is, this is asked many times. Let me do it again. This is actually a previous year question also. So you have a distance r. So when the field is 0, let's say at this distance x from this. So what I can say, the field due to m, small m would be gm by x square, and that would manage g into 9m, and the distance would be r minus x whole square. Taking the root 1 upon x is 3 upon r minus x. I know x is less than r, so no need to put plus minus. R minus x is 3x, so x comes out as r by 4. So this is r by 4, that would be 3r by 4. So potential would be due to first one minus gm by x, that is r by 4, from the second x, r minus x, which is 3r by 4. So what you have, this is minus 4 gm by r, and this was 9, sorry, so that becomes as minus 36 gm by 3r, so it becomes 12 and 4 16, minus 16 gm by r. That would be the option C here. Body takes t minutes to cool from 62 to 61 when the surrounding is 30. Time taken to cool from 46 to 45.5 would be. So for the first case, change is 1 degree, time taken is t, and the theta average would be 61.5 minus 30. In the second case, the change is not 1, change is 0.5, sorry, and let me have the time as t dash, that is k. Average would be 45.75 minus theta 30. So divide both. So what we will get 2 t dash by t, that we will get, and it would be kk cancel, 61.5 minus 30, that is 31.5, and this is 15.75, so this is exactly 2. So t dash exactly comes out as t, that means it is equal to t minutes. That is the same answer we are getting. Next one. In a Carnot engine, when T2 is 0 and T1 is 200 degrees Celsius, not Kelvin, efficiency was neta 1, and when T1 is 0 and this is minus 200, it is neta 2. The ratio is, in the first case, it would be 1 minus Tc by Th. Tc is 273 upon you have 473. So it is 200 by 473. In the second, it would be 1 minus 200 means 73 minus 200, and 0 means 273. So it is 200 by 273. So the ratio is 273 over 473, so it would be definitely greater than 0.5. And if I do this approximately, if you do 27 by 47, 47 table, if I do 47 5s would be 235, and you are getting now 30, so it would be 0.5 only, not 0.6, so go for 0.577. That would be the answer here. Next one. Fixed mass of a gas is first heated isobarically to double the volume and then cooled isochorically to decrease the temperature back to the initial value. By what factor would the work done by the gas decrease had the process been isothermal? So here it's something like this. What we have, first heated isobarically to double the volume. So let's say like this. This is from V0 to 2V0. This is the pressure P0, and then cooled to isochorically, that means to get the temperature same, here it will be cooled, so temperature same means now the pressure will become half of the P0. So this is the thing that you done. By what factor would the work done by the gas decrease if the process being isothermal? Isothermal means it would have been like this, like this. Okay, so first, in the first case that you take, the work done will be only in that first part, not in the second one. So W in the first path is equal to P0 into 2V0 minus V0, that is P0 V0. Now in the second case, you have that W dash, that would be equal to, we will write nRT0 ln of V final upon V initial, that is ln2, and nRT0 at any moment is P0 V0 ln2, and PV equal to always nRT. So the ratio would have been, by what factor it would have decreased, it would decrease by a factor ln2, you can do. Next one. Current carrying straight wire kept along the axis of a current carrying loop, carrying a current, the straight wire so wire is kept along the axis of a current carrying loop, let's say like this. So it is kept like this, so it will exert a force or not, you have to check. So what I can make it out here, if I check it, is it kept along the axis of a current carrying? It's a straightforward question, you know, the field due to this will be along this. So this is the direction of B, this is the direction of current here, both are along the same direction, so dl cross B will be 0, so force will be 0, so won't exert any force on the circular loop because the loop is not exerting any force on it, so it won't also exert. Force between two parallel current carrying wires is independent of their distance? No. Length of the wire? No. Magnitude of the current? No. The radii of the wires? Go for option D here. Next one. Ball A thrown vertically upward with speed u, at the same instant another ball B is released from rest at height h. At time t, the speed of A relative to B is assumed both are in air. So what we can make it out, the velocity of A at that moment would be equals to u minus gt upwards, velocity of B would be equal to gt downwards. So if I do V of A relative to B, that is VA minus VB. So taking A as upward as positive, it would be U minus GT, it would be minus GT, so it will basically becomes U. So the relative velocity will become U. You can directly say relative acceleration was 0, so relative velocity always remain and the answer given by NTA is pathetically wrong. Next. The maximum height attained by a projectile at angle theta with the horizontal is found to be half the horizontal range, then the theta is. So you all remember that a special relation R is equal to 4h cot theta, that you directly write. So what we have, so putting it, h is equal to R by 2, that would be cot theta. So cot theta comes out as 1 by 2, or you can say tan theta comes out as 2, so theta is tan inverse 2. go for this option A in this case. So this would be tan inverse 2. Next one, if the mass of A is equal to 10 kg, coefficient of static friction is 0.22, kinetic is 0.2, then the minimum mass of B to start the motion. So that means this Fs max has to be countered in that case. So what we need to have, this MB gene limiting case is that mu s into n on A, that is MAG. So MB minimum would be mu s times MA. Mu s times MA means 0.22 into 10, that is 2.2 kg. Go for option B. 2 kg won't work, 2.2 will work, because to start you need to first overcome static. Block moves down a smooth plane of inclination theta. Velocity on reaching the bottom is v. If slide down a rough inclined plane, its velocity becomes v by n. N is a number greater than 1. The friction coefficient is. So what we can do here, if we do this, let's say in both the cases, let's say displacement is going to be same. In the first case, the acceleration is g sine theta. So applying that v square equal to u square 0 plus 2g sine theta into L. What would be the length? In the second case, acceleration because of friction reduces, it becomes g sine theta minus mu g cos theta. So here it becomes v square by n square is 0 square plus 2g, I take it as common, sine theta minus mu cos theta into L. So divide both, you will have n square is equal to, you have 2 sine theta upon twice of sine theta minus mu cos theta. So this and this goes. So what we are left with, this is, I can write as it is 1 minus mu cos upon sinus cot theta is equal to 1 by n square. So mu comes out as 1 minus 1 by n square into cot theta, divide, that means tan theta. So tan theta into 1 minus 1 by n square, that would be the option. So option A, go for it. Next one, for pair production, that is for the production of electron and positron, the incident photon must have a minimum frequency of the order of. So the rest mass energy of electron is 0.51 eV, so for both it becomes 1.02 MeV. So here the frequency of the order of MeV you need. So energy is h nu. So it is, let's say 1 MeV, let me write it as 1 into 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 13, because we have to only check the order, that is 6.63 into 10 to the power minus 34 into nu. So nu you can say is 1.6 upon 6.63 into this 34 minus 13 is 21. So it is approximately 10 to the power 21, 20. You will, that would be the more appropriate option here. You can go for it. Next one, when uranium nucleus originally at rest decays by emitting an alpha having a speed u, the recoil speed is the momentum should remain same. So if alpha carries speed u, it will carry speed v backwards, vr, and because direction would be opposite, what we can say, its momentum is 4u, its momentum would be, remaining nucleus is 234 vr, so vr is 4u by 234, and better you should write it minus sign here. It is not given, but you can make it because speed is asked. So 4u by 234 you can do. Next, X-ray graph of particle undergoing SHM is shown. The acceleration at 4 by 3 seconds is. So looking at the curve, you can directly make it out. Time period is 8 seconds. So I can make it as x is equal to whatever be the amplitude. Let's say 1 into sine omega t. Omega is 2 pi by 8 into t. So first of all, what would be the value of x at t equal to 4 by 3? That would be equal to sine 2 pi by 8 into 4 by 3, that is 2 to sine pi by 3 is root 3 by 2, and acceleration is minus omega square x. Omega square would be 2 pi by 8 whole square, x is root 3 by 2. So what it becomes, minus pi square by 16 into root 3 by 2 minus root 3 pi square by 32. And I think this is a repeated question. This is being asked in one of the NTA tests before also. Two springs joined and attached to a mass of 16 kg. The system is then suspended vertically from a rigid support. Spring constant of the two springs are like this. The period of the vertical oscillation. So because both of the spring will be in series, 1 upon k will be equal to 1 upon k1 plus 1 upon k2. So we have time period equal to 2 pi root of m by k. So if I solve it, m is what you have 16 and k 1 by k is 1 by k1 plus 1 by k2. So going by this, taking 16, 4 out, 8 pi under root k1 plus k2 upon k1 k2, first option appears to be the right one. Next one, particle dropped from height h, then the de Broglie of the wavelength that depends on. So finally we will say lambda is h by mv and v is root 2 gh. So it is root 2 gh, that is m. So h lambda is h to the power minus half. Go for option A, that's an easy one. The wavelength of the d Broglie wave associated with thermal neutron of mass m at absolute temperature T is, you know, lambda is h by mv, h by mv is root 2 me, and E, you know, for temperature motion, that is 3 by 2 kT. So you can directly make it out. This is option C, easy one for you. Next one, Bernoulli's theorem is a consequence of the law of conservation of energy. That's a very easy one. Metal rod length L, area A, heated through T, what is the force required to prevent the expansion? You can directly go for whatever I say. Typically you write it as A y alpha delta T, but because here the options are given, what you will write, you will simply say delta L due to temperature plus delta L due to that force required, both must be equal to 0. Due to temperature, what you write, alpha L delta T or alpha L T, and due to this delta L thing, you will write it as FL upon AY, and the new length will become L1 plus alpha delta T or alpha T, because the expansion would have taken place upon AY. That would have been 0. So F comes out from here as minus AY alpha L, and L will cancel up, L minus AY alpha T into 1 plus alpha T. That is what you can write. So that is the more appropriate here. This is second time this is being repeated in one of these tests. Next. Two plano-convex lenses, focal length 20 and 30 are placed together to form a double convex lens. The final focal length will be, so they have focal lengths 20 and 30 placed to form. So they are placed because they are placed near to each other. You can directly say 1 by f is 1 by f1 plus 1 by f2. So it is 1 by 20 plus 1 by 30, that is 20, 30, 65 by 60, f is 12 centimeters. Go for option A. No need to find radius, you can directly do this. Linear object 10 cm kept in front of a concave mirror of radii of curvature 15 cm at a distance of 10 cm. The image formed is, because it is a radius of curvature is 2f, because it is between f and 2f, because it is between f and 2f, the image will be magnified inverted. That is, you can go for option B. Nothing to do, no need to solve the question. Uniform disk, mass m, radius r, hinged at the center C. Force F is applied on the disk as shown. At this instant, the angular acceleration is apply the torque. Torque would be this perpendicular distance. This is 240, so this will come out as 60. This is r, so I can say this r perpendicular would be r cos 60 degree, that is r by 2. So torque would be equal to Fr by 2, that is I alpha. Disk is mr square by 2 into alpha. Alpha comes out as f upon mr. So go for option B here. The B will be the right one here. Next one. Solid cylinder rolling without slipping down an incline, then its angular momentum is, what we can say, conserved about COM, conserved about point of contact, conserved about all the points, not conserved about any point. Here the angular speed, linear speed both keeps on increasing, so it is not conserved about any point. Just you can say even about point of contact, mg sin theta will be producing torque. About the CM, the friction will be producing a torque, so it won't be conserved about any point. The energy gap is maximum, you know, in the insulator, and insulator is nothing. These three are conductors, so it would be germanium semiconductor will have the greater gap. The given electrical network is equivalent to, so what I say, whenever you convert same input to an OR or NAND, it becomes a NOT gate. It is also a NOT, that means cancel. So this would be the gate, and this gate I can remember, this is equal to NOR gate, so answer would be NOR gate. That's an easy one. Copper rod length L0 at 0 is placed on a smooth surface. Now the rod is heated 200 degree. Find the longitudinal strain developed. So what we did right now, because it is placed on a surface, it is not hinged. Because it is not hinged, there won't be any strain developed, because whenever even a single end is left free, there won't be any strain developed. That you must have studied during the railway track thing, that must be taught by your teachers. So it would be 0. Strain will develop longitudinal only when both ends are fixed, or it doesn't get the expansion it wants to achieve. Here it is fully free to achieve the expansion due to temperature, so no strain will develop. Force FLT be considered fundamental units and the unit of masses. So what we can directly say, F you know dimensionally MLT minus 2, length you know dimensionally is length, time you know as time. So to get mass, you need, for force you need F to the power 1, to eliminate L you need L to the power minus 1, to eliminate T you need T to the power 2. So it comes out as FL minus 1 T2, directly by observation I have done. So go for option C here. Next one. Two identical light waves having phase difference phi propagate in the same direction. When they superpose, the intensity of the resultant wave is, you directly know, if both are equal, you directly write I is equal to 4 I naught cos square phi by 2. So it is cos square phi by 2. Go for option B. Next one, the fringe produced in diffraction pattern are of equal width. No, are of unequal width. Central maxima is wider. String having a length of 5 cm between fixed point has a fundamental 20. What is the frequency of the second overtone? Because it is fixed, second overtone means third harmonic means 60 Hz. Directly you can go for it. The equation of sound wave is thus, the wavelength is, you know, this is k is 2 pi by lambda, 2 pi by lambda is 62.4. So lambda comes out as 2 pi upon 62.4. 2 pi you know as 6.28 upon 62.4. So it is approximately 0.1 unit. Go for option B in this case. Two men with weight in the ratio 4 by 3 run up to a staircase in the time ratio 12 is to 1, the ratio of the power of the first to that of second. So for the first, work done would be, let's say, let it be 4m. That would be 4 mgh and time is 12t, let's say, right? For P2 it would be 3 mgh and let's say time is 11t. So the ratio P1 by P2, you can directly say 4 by 3, 11 by 12. This is coming out as 3, that is 11 by 9. Go for option D. That's an easy one for you. Next one. Force displaces the body by this distance in 2 second. Power generated. First of all, work done, F dot S. So what we have, only J dot J will be effective. So 12. So power is 12 by 2, 6 watt. Go for option B here. Be careful about IJK. So this was today's paper. I think that was an easy one for you.